Hello, podcast world. Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
Caroline and Carla. We're both doing it now. Do you have the stick? If you don't have the stick, you can't speak.
I feel like I've been coshed over the head with a stick this week, actually.
It's been an interesting week all round then, yeah?
Yes. No, nothing. I mean, I think you've had more stuff going on than me, really. I listened to your video this morning, but yeah, I feel a bit, I don't know, run over by life.
Yeah. I could quite happily run away at the moment if I had any money and anywhere to go, considering tying up all my belongings in a red spotted hanky and wandering off.
Like Dick Whittington.
Exactly like that, yeah. Well, it's a nice mug. People of the podcast world can't see your mug.
Is it William Morris?
It does look Morris-ish. Morrissey. It doesn't look Morrissey.
It's not Morrissey.
Not Gladiola and doom and gloom.
Do you know what I was saying? I went to Exeter shopping with Kirsten yesterday, and we were looking around the shops as we do. And Next did a collab thing with William Morris, with all the William Morris prints in clothes. Right. And also another high street brand did one at a very similar time. I think it might have been H&M, but don't quote me on that. And only this week I noticed that Marks and Spencer's are now doing a William Morris collab for bedding.
And John Lewis have a huge William Morris range as well, in like dog bowls and things like that.
What's going on? Do you think William Morris has got a large tax bill that he needs to pay?
I assumed he's no longer around anymore. No, wasn't he arts and crafts era 1930s?
Yes, I was being
suspicious. It then perhaps that they are now out? They don't have to pay as much thingy anymore.
Copyright type of thing.
Yes, yeah, that kind of thing. Maybe these prints are now more in the public domain or something.
Oh, that's possible, isn't it? I hadn't thought of that.
Because I know with books, once a certain amount of time has passed,
yeah, it becomes sort of public.
Yeah.
Property.
I don't know if it's a certain amount of time after they were written or a certain amount of time after the author's death. I can't remember.
Yeah, I've no idea. But anyway,
that's it.
Anyway, we're tangenting off already. Yeah. I almost don't dare ask you how your week's been, Carla.
It has been a steaming pile of horse dung. Thank you so much for asking. It's been a terrible week. It's been incredibly busy. We've had Anthony had a go-kart smash.
Oh no!
Now a go-kart smash sounds quite minor, doesn't it? But when it's a motorized petrol go-kart that goes at 30 miles an hour, he had the equivalent of a 30-mile-an-hour car crash.
Oh my God! Those go-karts, they're very close to the ground, and there's not enough aluminium around you but my sort of liking. I don't like them.
Yeah. So he was fairly damaged. He's broken a finger. He's hurt both ankles, both knees. He was very gashed up and
God.
Rude. So he spent a week hobbling around like the walking wounded.
Oh dear! I bet that's not put him in a good mood.
He's never in a good mood anyway. To be fair,
he's not of sunny disposition. Bless him, is he?
So there you go. And then we've had an almighty Willie up, said she, trying to keep it polite for the podcast. With Natalie's bed delivery, they delivered half a bed, and we've had 3 weeks of trying to sort that, and we've finally lost our marbles and told them, come and take the other half away, because if you don't, we're going to set fire to it on the driveway, because we're common like that. So they finally come and take it. Sorry?
This thing seems to have been going on forever.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. They finally came and took the other half away, and I ordered another bed off Amazon, which came with no trouble. So thank you, Jeff Bezos, for Natalie's new bed. I mean, he didn't pay for it. He still wants me to pay, but you know.
But at least he delivered it when he said he would.
At least he delivered when he said he would on the right day. I mean, in fact, they said it will be with you between 8 and 1, and it was with us at 8:05. And I thought, you cannot be more efficient than that. Thank you very much. But that was ongoing. In between that, I decided that I wanted to move my office around to give myself more space and more flow and more zen. Did not get zen yet. Maybe zen is still coming, but so far we're not zen. But there's been an awful lot of furniture removals and upheaval. And then finally, just to put the tin lid on it, we had to have one of the dogs put to sleep on Saturday. So it's been an awful week. How was yours?
Yeah, I'm so sorry about Buddy. I won't go on about it because obviously it's very raw.
We'll move on, and then I'll be able to hold it together.
We'll move on. Yes. My week was sort of all right, actually. Well, compared with that, it was a walk in the park. I don't know. I've had some health stuff going on, nothing life-threatening, but something painful and ongoing. I'm trying not to say what it is because I find all the very well-meaning.
Is it gout?
Yeah, it's sometimes a bit much, all the advice. Do you know what?
Is it gout? Because you get gout from rich living, don't you?
Christ, no.
You've been living richly.
Gout, no.
Too much port and steak or something. I don't know what you get gout from.
Gout always reminds me of Henry VIII, yes. Feasting on the whole leg of lamb and his Tudor. I don't know, I watched too.
I wondered if you might have contracted gout after eating your barbecued leg of lamb, you see.
A la Henry VIII. No, I haven't got gout. But yes, it's just been painful and wearing and annoying. And that's been getting me down. And another thing I'm not going to talk about, another family medical type thing that has been worrying and sort of nagging, I don't know. It just feels a bit trying. I did have a lovely day out in Exeter with Kirsten yesterday, though, and that was
good.
I had a bad night on Sunday, and I thought, I've really done. The last thing I feel like doing is going shopping to Exeter. I've been really low energy, and I thought, it'll be all right. I'm just going to go, And I got there, and I actually had a really nice day. It was lovely to see Kirsten and chat to her, and wander around the shops and have some lunch. And it was just uplifting. It was kind of what I needed, so that was good.
What you needed, even though you didn't know you needed it.
Yes, absolutely. Your name came up in conversation with me and Ashley last night, actually.
Oh, I say. So whatever it is, I apologise in advance.
Not at all. When we talk about going on cruises, and I think last time you were here, we were talking about cruises, and you said, when I go on a cruise, I want to go from Southampton. Yeah. I don't want to fly to go on a cruise.
Yes.
I feel exactly the same as you. And we've been looking to book a cruise for next January or February because that's such a rubbish time of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I can't find any cruises that you don't have to fly at one end of them. That it also needs to go somewhere hot. And I realise that I'm asking for, a unicorn, a rainbow unicorn, because you need to.
I think that's the thing. If you want to go out of Southampton and back into Southampton, then to also go somewhere hot, then you need to go on one of the very much longer cruises. It needs to be a 21 or 30 days. And if you don't want to be away that long, then you cannot have all of those things, can you? It's kind of, pick your poison, really.
Yeah, so we were then, yes, exactly.
2-week cruises only go to the kind of the Med and the Canaries and stuff like that, don't they?
Yeah, we thought about the Canaries, but I know you had dodgy weather when you went in November. It wasn't brilliant.
It got better towards as the further away we got. Funnily enough, the further away we got, the better the weather was. Fancy that. But unfortunately, you don't stay at the further away bits long enough. You go all the way, and then you turn around and come back, and the longer section of poor weather than there was good weather.
And I think 21 days would be too much for us. I think 14 days is probably enough. Although, how unpleasant can being on a lovely cruise to the Caribbean or whatever be. But I feel like 2 weeks.
It's still 3 weeks closeted in close confinement with the one you love, isn't it? Which is a long time.
Absolutely, yes. 24/7.
Yeah. It's a lot. 3 weeks is a long time of somebody saying, so what are we doing now then? Which is pretty much what you do on cruises. You go, so what are we doing now then? And you each say that to the other one all day long.
Yes.
So what are we doing now then? So what's next then?
I feel like 21 days would be too long. So then we were looking again at flying options and going, and it just seems like a whole world of hassle. And I realise this is a very privileged thing to say, isn't it? Oh, it seems like a lot of hassle to go on holiday, to have to go on a plane and then get on a cruise ship. Quite clearly that is, a nice thing. But I feel resentful about having to get in a plane.
For me, the joy of cruising is avoiding all of the airport hoo-ha, or avoiding all of that, trying to see if your case weighs the right amount, standing in a queue for check-in, faffing about, go to this queue, go to that queue, have this piece of paperwork here and that piece of paperwork there, and do this and do that, and standing there hoping that you haven't accidentally packed your lip salve in your handbag and forgotten, and all of that stuff. All of that is completely wiped out if you cruise. Again, sounding very privileged. So for anyone who hasn't cruised, just so you know, it's just a much more simple procedure. You rock up, you say, "Here is my suitcase." They say, "Lovely, get in your boat." That's pretty much it.
It is. I do feel my tolerance for faffing, and I guess this goes back to what we were discussing the other week about doing your own self-checkouts and stuff, doesn't it? And let me come back to that in a second, because I have another point to make here. It's a good job they haven't got visuals. I'm waggling my fingers a lot. Now I've forgotten what I was saying. Yeah, my tolerance for faffing since COVID has gone down. I think that's probably an age thing as well, though, not just a COVID thing. I can't deal with lots of levels of faffing. It winds me up. But I was listening to, I'm changing the subject completely now. I was listening to, actually I wasn't listening to, my mother told me recently. Now my mother is she's 80, but she has a smartphone, she uses a computer, she orders stuff online. She is, for her age, she is quite tech savvy. But the new parking pay and display meters in car parks, she cannot get on with at all. You know that sometimes you have to tap your number plate in, and sometimes you have to have an app on your phone. I mean, I don't understand a lot of them. It annoys them.
Why can't I just put 50p in? Why?
Exactly, yes. What has happened? What's going on with the world? And my mum told me the other day that she actively avoids going to places where she doesn't know what sort of parking machines they're going to have, because she doesn't understand them and they stress her out.
Yeah.
And that's sad. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I was on the treadmill this morning listening to Loose Women YouTube videos, and they had a whole section on that, saying that it's basically stopping old people from doing things and going to places, or not just old people, but not tech savvy people.
Yeah, it is very frustrating that they're not all very uniform. Again, why can't they all be the same? Why have they got to be 47 million different designs of parking meter? Why should you have to have an app? Some people still don't want a mobile phone, and that should be optional. You shouldn't have to have a mobile phone unless you want one. So why should there be an app? And it does annoy you. They're being forced, and it's all. This is where I get on my hobby horse now and start galloping on. It is all more about getting rid of people's jobs again. So if there are no monies in the meters, then nobody has to go and collect the monies, and we can make that man redundant. Lovely, thank you, smashing. And then in the other breath, they rant about the number of people unemployed and how people have, because you wiped out all the jobs by giving them to machines.
Absolutely.
I try not to go into proper rant mode because I'll deafen the poor people listening. But
it's. I mean, as I said, my mother is quite tech savvy for someone of her age. So there must be an awful lot of people out there in the same boat as her that aren't actively not going to places. I mean, hospital car park. I got locked in a hospital car park. The thing wouldn't go up.
That's it. Hospital car park. Now you have to know your reg number, and if you have a blue badge for a disabled parking badge, then you can park free in our hospital. Well, if you have a blue badge, then you can park free of charge. But not only do you have to know your registration number, you also have to know your blue badge number. Now, there's a strong chance that you are driving a person to the hospital and they're going to use their blue badge for parking, and you don't know their blue badge number. And when you park, you automatically put the blue badge in the windscreen. And then you walk the 1,000,000 miles to the parking machine to try and work out what, and then it says you need your blue badge number. So then you trek all the way back to the car. By the time you've done all this at our hospital, you've missed your appointment, and they've written you one of those snotty letters telling you should have turned up and you didn't, and you've wasted £47,000 of the NHS's money. It's not a sore point. I don't know why you would think I was bitter about that.
Talking of NHS wasted money, I tell you what, if they continue sending me bloody reminders for COVID jabs, I've had 6 text messages, 3 emails, and a 7-page letter in 4 different languages.
Wonderful. And how much is that costing?
God knows. Probably enough to give a junior doctor a pay rise.
Yeah. Speaking of pay rises.
Yes. See what you did there?
The podcast. Oh, these segues are just so beautiful. Chef's kiss. Speaking of pay rises, today's subject for the podcast is, if you came into £50 million, I think it was on the Euro Millions, if you won 50 million on the Euro Millions, what would you spend it on? That was going to be today's subject. So, Caroline, have you given it any thought?
Absolutely none. I'm somewhat ill prepared for this. Actually, I have a little bit. And £50 million is quite a lot of money, isn't it?
It is, yes.
So first of all, I think I'd have to employ a good financial advisor.
Okay, see, that'd be the
Does
last
that
thing I'd
sound
do.
sensible?
It sounds very sensible, but it's the last thing I'd do. I don't want anyone advising me.
Bang it in your current account. Well, you probably could. I mean, I'm sure HSBC would be bloody delighted.
To be honest, I'm probably going to bung it in a sock up the chimney because I'll get just as much interest on it that way.
Now you get more interest now. The interest rates have gone up. So I think you'd need a big sock.
Okay, the thing is that your financial advisor, the first thing they're going to advise you is not to spend it. They're going to advise you to invest it wisely.
True. But they'd be able to tell you where to put it, and I mean, you're not going to spend 50 million quid, are you? Not like.
Why not?
Why not? Because
screws up shopping list, storms out.
But I think as well, with that much money, I want to give some to charity in some way. And I did have a think about this. And my charity that I like doing things for and raising money for is dementia charities. Obviously, I've got the connection because my dad's got dementia. And but I'd like to be, because I think I probably wouldn't carry on working.
Mm-hmm.
No brainer, really. So I would like to maybe be more involved in setting up some sort of charitable foundation. So get involved a bit more rather than just giving money.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really thought any further than that. And maybe something for animals as well, cats. I'd like to do something with cats because I like cats.
Okay, so would you stay in your current house? You've suddenly got 50 million quid burning a hole in your Kate Spade purse. What are you doing with it?
Staying in this house, but moving out and having it all finished and done, you know, all the jobs that we've done, most of it, but there's still a bit to be done. And
you could go on one of those round the world cruises that take a year and then have the house done in your absence.
I could do, couldn't I? I could probably go in the penthouse suite or something as well. Yeah. I don't think I could go on a cruise for a year.
I don't think I could do a year.
No.
I could certainly do one of the longer ones, like you can do a 60-day one, I think, or a 90-day one. I could just about manage that depending on who I was with. I think I might have to ship various companions in and out.
Yeah. You do miss
Sorry.
You do miss home cooking as well. When I worked on the cruise ships, I would do 6 months away. Absolutely craved a home cooked meal. Absolutely craved it. Yeah.
If you had 50 million quid, you see, you could book yourself into your cabin for the 3 months or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then you could literally arrange a rota of all of your friends to come out and join you for a fortnight at a time, fly them out to where you are, they join you on the cruise ship for a fortnight, and then when you've had enough, you fly them back again and swap them for a different one. I think that's an excellent plan. You get the altruistic joy of giving all of your friends a holiday, but the inner joy of not having to spend 3 months with any of them.
Yeah, that's true. So would
you sit like working out how many friends you've got?
No, I'm not. How many friends I want to go on holiday with?
Yeah. I think that would be a fun thing to do, to be able to, I mean, I suppose with 50 million quid, you could probably buy your own yacht and do that. But
I'm not sure you could. I
don't know how much yachts cost.
Well, on Below Deck, one of them was worth 120 million or something.
Oh, in that case, we won't bother. I'll just go on cruise ships. Fine.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But I've always thought as well that I would like to be able to do some of that kind of secret millionaire business, but not with, they do it with employees, don't they? Secret millionaire, they go, look, I would like to do it more with just regular folk around about. I've always thought it'd be lovely to be able to, one of your neighbours puts on Facebook something along the lines of, oh, flipping it, the washing machine's broken down. Wouldn't it be wonderful just to be able to order a washing machine and have it delivered with a little note saying it is for you, don't panic, don't send it back.
Yeah.
There you go. And not necessarily put your name to it or anything like that. You know what I mean? You don't need the glory of it, do you? But just to be able to just go around, almost like a magic wand, almost like it going around going, twinkle, 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 made your life a little bit better, made your day a little bit better, and just sit around in the quiet knowledge that
that gives you.
Am I sounding too Disney?
No, not at all, because I've actually done something a little bit like that, an anonymous good thing,
Mm.
just as a monetary anonymous good
Yeah.
thing, and I got a lot of nice feeling just for
Yeah.
myself, not because there
I
was
think, yeah,
no
that's it. I mean, there's
glory.
that Phoebe thing, isn't it? That there is no such thing as a selfless deed, because everything is, yeah. But it would be lovely to be able to help people in small ways. I think one of the things that if you advertise that I am willing to help you, then you are going to get bombarded with some deserving cases and some not so deserving cases and some chancers and some scammers, and you're never going to know what to do. And obviously that's why rich people don't go, hit me up if you want anything, yo. You know, that's why they don't do that. But I don't know who I was being in that imitation. I don't know who that was. I think I might have been 50 Cent or somebody. Are you allowed to be 50 Cent? Is he a good guy still?
You can be a different nationality, a different sex. You can be whatever you identify as. No, if you want to identify as a Black American philanthropist rapper, Carla, you go for it. You can be whatever you like.
Well, you know, like I said, I can identify as a teapot if I want these days, so that's fine. But my point is that if you were a rich person, that's obviously why you don't advertise that you're willing to do nice things for people, because you will be inundated with people and you won't know who's genuine and who's in genuine need and whatever. But if you didn't mention that you'd won, this is why I wouldn't have publicity if I won, because then nobody would even suspect it was you doing the good things.
True.
You know, you could go around waving your magic wand and sprinkling a bit of fairy dust into people's lives and making everything better, and nobody would go, oh, it must be that rich bird on the corner. You know, because yeah,
absolutely.
Although that would mean still having to stay in this house. I'll have to think. I'll maybe have to give it a bit more thought.
Yeah. What would be something you'd spend it on that's really frivolous? Is there a really frivolous thing that you couldn't ever imagine buying because it's so frivolous, but if you had that sort of money, you would?
I don't know if I've ever let myself imagine anything really frivolous. I don't know if I've ever let myself imagine just, you know, because it's... What about you? Have you got anything in mind?
Yes, I think I mentioned this on a video that we've done before, when we got a question about if you won the lottery, what would you... I would have my car wrapped in metallic pink.
You have mentioned that, yeah. I'd love to go into a showroom and just go, I'll have that one, but I don't like it in so-and-so colour, so make it whatever. Yeah, that would be lovely, yeah.
Yes,
we don't do that one in electric blue. You do now.
Yes.
Yeah, there's that fun element of it.
Absolutely.
I would definitely have a new car. Definitely, I'd rush out and have a new car immediately, possibly two.
Yeah.
Now I realise I've only got one bum and one pair of hands, and I can only drive one at a time. But it would be awfully nice to have one car that one carts all the dogs around in, and it looks like an absolute shed on wheels, and it doesn't matter, but it's still reliable. So something like a Land Rover or whatever, you know, that is a good, sturdy, reliable car, plenty of room for dogs, and doesn't matter if it gets muddy. But then it's also be lovely to have a second car that if you went to pick up your friend for a night out, you didn't have to say to her, oh my God, don't sit on that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And do you know what else I would buy? Going back to the previous podcast, I would buy a really sturdy sun lounger. I would possibly commission one and have it made. There you go. There's my frivolous item.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds... You could then guarantee that you wouldn't get a single sunny day on which to use it for the following 3 summers.
Well, yeah, so I'd have to pack my sun lounger and take it with me on my cruise.
Yes, you'd have to pay for excess baggage, but you wouldn't care, would you?
Have some kind of flunky wandering along behind me lugging my custom-made sun lounger.
Yeah, it would need its own little custom-made trailer, wouldn't it? So they could pull it along the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely.
To park it where
you like kind of upholstered, kind of Posh Spice style or Paris Hilton style. You know what I mean? Pink and quilted and diamante trim.
I'm surprised you haven't talked about having a house full of dogs or a dog boarding or something like that.
I would definitely have a larger house, and with a larger house would come many more dogs, definitely. The reason we have less dogs in this house is simply because we cannot accommodate them. So it would be one of those, whenever you hear of a dog needing a home, be like, yeah, we'll have it, add it to the throng, you know. So
yeah,
I would have a large house with very secure grounds. I like my dogs to have freedom. I'd like to be able to have, you know, the door is always open so the dogs run in and out or whatever and do what they want. And yeah, it'd be lovely to have maybe somewhere with stables so that the dogs could literally all just do their own thing. And
I think I'd probably like some alpacas like Mrs. Hinch. Have you seen her alpacas?
I have. Apparently they're not Mrs. Hinch's in particular, but apparently alpacas as a species are not actually very friendly.
They're not, but hers really are. She's really tamed them. But
Yeah.
I swear she must have an alpaca groom, because they are the tidiest, most beautiful looking alpacas I've ever seen.
I'm sure she does. I'm sure she has. And she probably got a groom for the children as well by now.
Yes,
Yeah,
I like an alpaca. And perhaps some chickens.
okay. Fair enough. Just for the eggs, or
Don't
do you
know.
want to pet them?
Don't know. A bit of both.
Hmm.
I fancy those some of those fancy fowls, the ones you see with I'm
You
thinking
can have designer chickens. That's the most frivolous thing I've
designer
ever heard of.
chickens with feathery legs and all sorts of
Yes,
bright
I know the ones. The ones that look they've got furry trousers on. Yeah.
Yes, I like those. So here's a question. Would you still make YouTube videos?
I would still make YouTube videos. I probably would stop doing eBay. I probably wouldn't get the buzz that I get now from finding something and selling it for more. That that would provide.
Yeah.
I would still make YouTube videos, but it would definitely open the doors to making a lot more fun videos, wouldn't it? You could do a lot more.
Yes.
Even the silly things now, like so for example, I consider doing things like taste test videos, but what stops me is the waste involved of buying things and not using them or whatever. And if you had the money, then you wouldn't have to consider the cost of the money. But also you could then perhaps, I don't know, maybe make it work more so that the stuff didn't get wasted,
But
You'd
don't
be
you
able to
think you
afford to
get
buy the stuff in the first place and not
do you
waste it.
not think if it was public knowledge that you won 50 million pounds on the lottery, that you'd get loads, not you personally, but as a YouTuber, you would get an awful lot of jealous backlash and nastiness? And
I think so, but then you get a lot of jealous backlash at the moment, and I've got nothing for anyone to be jealous of. I live the least aspirational life that anyone could, so they have to find something else to hate you for. So it's that old thing, is it? Haters gonna hate. They're gonna find something.
true. Yes.
So you're either too rich or too poor, or too fat or too thin, or too good or too bad, or too tall or too short, or you dress well or you don't dress well, or some people aren't going to like you. Some people in life are going to go, I don't like you.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
and even if you did, you could do everything possible to be the perfect human, and they still, I don't like you. So yeah. I wouldn't want to make the kind of YouTube videos where you go visibly around dishing out lumps of money, because I do feel that that's a weird one. We know when somebody films themselves giving a homeless person food or whatever, I'm like, that's really disrespectful.
There's quite a lot of that on TikTok, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's not so. It takes the altruism out of it, I think, a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, I think people are gonna find something to dislike you for, and
very true. Yes, and as you say, it would make you be able to make much more interesting videos, because you'd be out and about. And would you be out and about and doing more stuff? I guess you would, wouldn't you? Just
yeah. And things like silly stuff, like you could pay someone to be the camera person. When you look at the really good, successful YouTubers, they're not holding their own camera.
No.
And because they're not holding their own camera, they're able to get involved in what they're doing so much more. And therefore, they probably get the enjoyment out of what they're doing so much more and still get a really good video. So I have found, like, moving this office around, I wanted to make a video, but actually there's not going to be very much content of me doing the work, because it's a lot easier to do it than it is to film yourself doing it.
Absolutely. When you a video with B-roll and separate angles and all that sort of stuff is so much more visually involving to watch, isn't it? And yet for one person, it's so hard to make that, so time consuming, isn't it? So
and learning all the editing skills and whatever, it would be lovely to be able to say to somebody, here's all the footage, please make me a lovely video. I'm
not sure on that one. I feel like editing yourself makes you more, I don't know, more, what's the word? It's more you.
More relatable.
No, it's just more, it's of you.
More personal.
It comes out how you want it to come out, rather than how someone else's vision of it.
But maybe you could split it 50-50. Maybe they could edit all the lovely bits that, all the footage. They could do all the cropping out the bit where the horse does a poo and all of that stuff, and then send it back to you so that you could actually make it your own, so to speak.
The horse does a poo.
Well, you know what I mean. If say I was going horse riding, which I'm not going to go horse riding before anybody calls the animal cruelty people, I'm not going to put any horse through that. But if you do go horse riding and you're filming it, at some point the horse takes a massive dump, doesn't he? Because that's always the way. And you might not want that in your video, depending on the tone of your video. You might think that was hilarious and leave it in, but you might also not want that in, or you might, you might fall off and break a leg, and you might want that bit edited out.
Yes. I don't imagine the editing would be at the forefront of your mind in that scenario, but yes, I get your point.
I think this is that old adage that money does not bring you happiness.
Yeah.
And no, it doesn't. It takes away an awful lot of the things that make you unhappy, which makes a difference. Having money takes away a lot of all the things you worry about and that you fall out from it. But it does open doors.
Brings freedom.
Opportunities.
Freedom, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, there's so many things I'd love to be able to go and do and film for YouTube, and either monetary restrictions or time restrictions prevent me doing it. And if I had the money, I'd have more time as well. So
yeah, but it does give you time as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because not having to work and stuff to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Interesting subject.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Apparently I've forgotten how to speak. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this via YouTube rather, and you're able to post a comment, we'd love to know what you would spend your 50 million on. I think that'd be quite interesting to hear people's views.
Yeah, definitely.
And on the subject of if you're viewing this or listening to it on YouTube, I had a comment on one of mine saying I can only find 2 of them. So maybe we didn't make it clear that they go onto our channels alternately. So all of the odd number podcasts are viewable on Caroline's channel, and all of the even number podcasts are viewable on my channel. But listenable.
Also, audible. What I'll do is there's a link where you can go and listen to them on an actual podcast website. I'll give it to you to put into your description boxes as well.
That would be great, yeah. Because somebody said I can only find this and this, and I was like, oh yeah, they're all on Caroline's channel. So yeah, if you're thinking how is she on episode 6 and I've only listened to 2 and 4, because the others are elsewhere.
Yeah, we'll try and put some more links in. Anyway,
I've been very, very rubbish at marketing our podcast. I've been very, very bad. But I was very excited to see the vastness of the paycheck which Caroline sent me a screenshot of. I said I'm proper excited by that. Now we know we're in the money.
We're on our way to the 50 million. $1.22.
$1.22. What's that in real money? About 67p?
No, it's about £1, I think.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, there we go. If I'd known that, I'd have got more excited.
Absolutely. Anyway, should we wrap this up?
I think so, yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Your plans for the day, and I've got to finish fighting with this parcel that I was just wrestling before we started.
Enjoy. Have a good week. I hope your week is better than last week.
The only way is up, as Yaz and the plastic population told us.
The last Yaz and the plastic population.
If people listen to this who have absolutely no idea who Yaz is,
go on YouTube, Yaz and the plastic population. That's what I'm going to go and do right now. Listen to it. Have a good week.
Thank you for joining us for this one.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.